this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, the day's support, resistance and pivot levels and the Fibonacci's. It is Friday the 23rd of April. Demonstrating Bitcoin against the US dollar, it's been a mixed start to the day. Gonna need to see Bitcoin move through the pivot at 52,603 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 54,632. We need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break back through to 54,000 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 55,000 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, should see Bitcoin target 58,000 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level is at 57,528. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the 23.6% fib at 5473 and the first major support level at 49,707 into play. Barring another extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should steer clear of the second major support level, sitting at 47,678. Looking at the MACD, slight narrowing of the bearish histograms, but nothing suggestive of a bullish day ahead, so keep an eye on that early on. On the EMA's bearish indicator with the 50 pulling further back from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further downside ahead. So key through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 52,603 and back through to 54,000 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, the support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, it's a mixed start to the day. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 2450 to take a run at the first major resistance level, saying at 2596. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 2500 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's new swing high at 2646.20 to cap any upside. In the event of breakout, second major resistance level at 2793 should come into play. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 2254 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of sub 2200 levels. Second major support level sits at 2108. Looking at the MACDs, we have a slight narrowing of the bearish histograms, but nothing suggestive of a bullish morning ahead, so keep an eye on that. On the EMAs, the 50 has narrowed marginally on the 100 and the 200, so also suggests some early pullback, but still a bullish indicator. So keep through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 2450 and back through to 2500 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failures to do that, the support levels will come into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, also a mixed start to the day. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 261 and the 23.6% fib at 262 to take a run at the first major resistance level, so extending at 282. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break back through to 280s. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 289.8 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, you could see Litecoin target 300 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 311. Failure to move through the pivot and 23.6% fib would bring the first major support level at 232 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should still well clear of the 38.2% fib at 217. Second major support level sits at 211. Looking at the MACD, we have a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day, suggestive of some downside ahead. On the EMAs, also bearish with the 100 crossing through the 200 and the 50 pulling away from the 100 and the 200, suggestive of some further downside ahead. So failure to move through the pivot and the 23.6% fib would bring support levels into play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, positive start to the day. Going to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 1.2224 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 1.3535. Going to need to see support from the broader market, however, for Ripple's XRP to break out from the 38.2% fib at 1.2807. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 1.41999 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ripple's XRP target the 23.6% fib at 1.5426. Second major resistance level sits at 1.5511. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1.0248 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should still well clear of the second major support level at 0.8936. Looking at the MACD, we have a slight narrowing of the bearish histogram, but nothing suggestive of a bullish day ahead, so keep an eye on that early on. On the EMA, still a bearish indicator with the 50 pulling further back from the 100 and the 200, suggesting some further downside ahead. So key through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 1.2224 and break back through the 38.2% fib at 1.2807 to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will be in play.